And hello everybody, welcome back to RFC News. Well, it looks like there has been some big developments over last night and this morning with regard to Rangers' next managerial appointment, and it does look like all signs are pointing towards Kevin Muscat. And it actually does seem as though he's the only man in the race, as we're being told that contract talks are currently ongoing for him to be the next manager of the football club. In today's live stream, we're going to be going through all of the latest on what we currently know thus far. But as always, guys, please do hit the like button and hit the subscribe button for more content just like this. Let's get over to social media and see what's being said. Now, last night, we got this information, of course, and we're just going to go through it again with you, and that's with regard to Danny Rowe. It did seem as though Danny Rowe and Kevin Muscat were the only two that were potentially in contention, or at least the furthest along the line of potentially being appointed. But we did get this news from Sky Sports last night with regard to Danny Rowe.
Right, we've got some breaking news for you, and Danny Rowe has told Rangers he does not wish to continue in the process to become the club's new head coach. Rowe had held discussions with the Ibrox hierarchy last week and impressed, but is no longer in the race. Sky Sports News revealed earlier that Kevin Muscat was emerging as the frontrunner for the job. Rangers remain in discussions with Muscat, who's currently manager of the Chinese club Shanghai Port. Sky Sports News understands the 52-year-old has impressed the Rangers hierarchy, but Danny Rowe has ruled himself out of becoming Rangers' new head coach.
Now, this, of course, does raise some alarm bells, let's be perfectly honest. Now, this is two individuals that have ruled themselves out personally to being the new head coach or manager of Rangers. We, of course, had a similar story with regard to Steven Gerrard a few days ago. Now, Danny Rowe is the latest to withdraw himself out, which suggests that there is something really stinking in the sort of sporting structure and the hierarchy. But I don't think many fans will be that upset with regard to Danny Rowe ruling himself out, which is absolutely fair. I don't think he was the most popular choice amongst supporters, and most people's eyes are looking towards this man. Now, people are saying this morning, sources that are close to the football club are stating this morning that Rangers are working to finalise the appointment of Kevin Muscat as their new head coach. I mean, that keyword there suggests a lot as well. Rangers review revealed last night that Danny Rowe had withdrawn from the process, which Sky Sports also stated as well. But the latest with this one is that they're looking to finalise the appointment of the manager, or Muscat. So everything does suggest that he will be the next head coach of Glasgow Rangers. Now, I do think this is the more popular choice among supporters at this moment in time, and certainly one that excites me. We, of course, spoke about Steven Gerrard coming back in the odds again yesterday, which looks like market manipulation, which is serious fraud, especially from the Sky's perspective, because Sky Bet were saying that Steven Gerrard was evens to join. But then Sky Sports contradicted themselves literally an hour later and said that there was no talks that had been ongoing with regard to Steven Gerrard. So again, I think there's something a little bit fishy from Sky Sports' side. However, I do think it's going to be Kevin. Well, it's all sources are suggesting it's going to be Kevin who's going to be the next Rangers manager. And as they stated, Rangers are working to finalise a deal for the player. So pretty exciting. We also got news as well last night that Shanghai Port were, of course, sorting out their contingency plan to bring in a new manager as well, as Kevin's on his way. Now, the certain things are, as we're finding out this information, that Rangers are finalising the deal for Kevin Muscat, are suggesting that, again, there's still a few unanswered questions. Now, as we already know, this guy has still got 4 league games left for Shanghai Port. Now, he's on course for a new title, 2 points ahead in the title race at this moment in time, and looking to do back-to-back titles for the Chinese club. And I think it would be the club's 3rd title in a row. Now, the questions remain, is he going to be coming in now? Or is he going to be coming in around a month? Well, we've heard reports and lots of talking that, well, essentially, Rangers could be waiting. Rangers may have to wait for Kevin to finish the job out in China. And we're hearing the likes of Neil McCann could, of course, come in temporarily. We've also heard rumours that Neil McCann could also be a part of the coaching setup with regard to Kevin, should he join, which is looking increasingly likely. So it looks like that Neil McCann could take over for those sort of 4 weeks whilst Kevin finishes his job. But we'll find out a little bit more information with regard to that a little bit later on. So yeah, this is what the Daily Record are saying, and I know, take of that what you will, in terms of their exclusive, but they're saying Kevin Muscat proved he's got it at Rangers as Neil McCann interim boss, master plan endorsed. Rangers closing in on appointment of Kevin Muscat, Australian coach, expected to start on November 22nd. Now, again, I don't think this is the greatest source in the world in terms of Fraser Fletcher, but certainly someone that's a Rangers supporter, and again has ties to sort of team talk. But this is sort of what's echoing at this moment in time. Stephen Smith could take the team at the weekend, with Neil McCann willing to take interim before joining the coaching team. So this is what we've got currently so far. The state of play looks like Kevin will be coming to the club on November 22nd. There's probably no way to get around it, which suggests to me he's a good guy. Now, I know we're Glasgow Rangers. I know we've got a cup semi-final coming up. We've got what we want to achieve coming up very soon. But it shows the principles of this individual, that he doesn't just walk out of the door on a job that's half finished. He hasn't won the title yet and wants to honour that, which I respect entirely. At the same time, Rangers supporter, and I'm like, fuck, we've got a cup semi-final coming up. We've got important Europa League games coming up, and I want him in sooner the better. But I suppose it's one of those things which suggests that he is a good guy and wants to carry on doing his stuff. So November 22nd is being stated where the date he could be joining. And until then, Stephen Smith could be taking the team for Dundee United at the weekend, and then Neil McCann then taking over the reins until November 22nd before joining the coaching team, which would make some sense. And also does bode quite well, because if Neil McCann's a part of it, he'll be relaying information to Kevin may be relaying information to him, and we'll start getting an idea of things actually moving in the right direction. My only worry is, if we're looking at November the 22nd, we've of course got some big games. We have. I mean, look, the jury's still out on whether the league's over. I personally do believe so. I don't want people thinking I'm a defeatist or whatnot, but we need to sort this mess out very, very quickly, which I think could happen very, very quickly as well. But if you're looking at our fixtures, 2 seconds, if you're looking at our fixtures here, we have got some important ones. Now, this game against Brann is now turning into a must-win in the Europa League after us losing our first 2 opening Europa League matches. We've got important games in the league, but this one strikes to me as the most important. And even then, we've got a long way to go, around a month to wait for Kevin to come in through the door. So it looks like Stephen Smith will take this job, and then we'll have Neil McCann for all of these games up until the international break, until Kevin would come in. But that game is very, very important for our season, because the League Cup is probably one of a few things that we probably go on and try and win this season. So, yeah, it does look like Neil McCann will be in charge for those games, which, I mean, there is important games there. That Brann game is looking really increasingly like a must-win. And, of course, there's that sort of idea of something freshness, something new, which could see us get over the line in these sort of games. But we'll see what happens against Dundee United, and then certainly see what happens against Brann as well. But for those of you just tuning in, troops, it does seem as though Kevin will be appointed as the next Rangers manager, and that looks like it's going to be on November 22nd. Guys, get involved in the live chat. I want to know what you're thinking with regard to Kevin joining. It looks like a good one. It looks like an exciting one, and it certainly looks like we are at the end of this sort of merry-go-round of managers, names being linked to us, and it looks like we're actually getting someone in through the door. So, yeah, let's see. Let's get into the live chat. Let's see what people are saying with regard to him joining. I'm just going to go over there quickly, see what people are saying. 2 secs. The old live chats. So, Wee Fat Shug says, I like it. Good, Wee Fat Shug. I like it as well. Kaylin says, is this the appointment you wanted? I remember you said you wanted Gerrard. I personally believe if he is given more control over who comes in, he'll be successful. What do you think? Well, look, listen. Yeah, of course I wanted Gerrard. I think the majority of people wanted Gerrard at one point. I mean, we were all getting hyped up about it, but is it nostalgic? Is it one of those situations where we're all just thinking, oh, well, Gerrard won before, we're in desperate need, but would have he been better choice than Kevin? I'm not entirely sure. What I would say when we were talking about Steven Gerrard is that I did feel as if that Kevin's name wasn't even in the mix when we were being linked to Steven Gerrard. It was almost like Steven Gerrard and Danny Roll, and that was it. And I was actually questioning in one of the live streams we did a couple of days ago, where is Kevin's name? Why has he not even been linked to the job over, considering what he's been doing out in China, Japan and Australia, and him being linked to the football club before? I've always wondered why he wasn't even in there, even in the mix. And it wasn't only until a couple of days ago, really, where Kevin's name started to come up. So we'll have to, I'm happy with it. And I'm not going to kid you on and bring you down the line. I don't watch Chinese football. I don't watch Japanese football, and I don't watch Australian football. I don't really know what he's done. I've done a little bit of digging, a little bit of research in there, and I like the style of play that he's got. He can be a bit more pragmatic. Yes, people say it's echoes to Ange Postecoglou. And Ange Postecoglou did very well in Scotland. Did very, very well in Scotland, to be perfectly honest with you. Now, some people will say that they don't like that style of football, like, too ferociously attacking. It's certainly entertaining, but if we've got a level of discipline and we're outscoring the opponent and winning, then that's the most important part. And Kevin's track record suggests that he does deliver titles. He's delivered titles in 3 different countries now, except from that blip, of course, in Belgium. But I suppose you got to look at that in context, like everything. I feel like where he was at Belgium, things just weren't working out in terms of COVID, but certainly a fallout and a breakdown in terms of the hierarchy at the football club during that time and how it was being run. And he only was there for 14 games. So I would take that with a sort of pinch of salt, like you should. But yeah, I mean, I think this is probably the best option that we've currently got at this moment in time. I genuinely do believe that. Wee Fat Shug says, actually think Muscat would do a better job, if I'm honest. Facts. Oliver says Kevin is the right man. Alan says Steven Gerrard wanted to own the process. Prudential way to discreet. The fans were slating Muscat earlier, only last week. Lol stinks of pure desperation. Yeah, well, I mean, if you're looking at who we've been linked with over the last couple of weeks, Kevin is definitely the best option. You've got to be realistic on where we are right now. There's not many options, but I feel like if you're going with a proven winner, someone that's won titles wherever he's been, his style of play has been replicated in different leagues, then I think we do often try and big up the league in a way. Now, I love Scottish football. Rangers play in Scottish football. But if we're being realistic with ourselves, apart from sort of Rangers, Celtic and Hearts at this moment in time, you should be able to beat every single one of those teams just solely on budget alone, which we haven't been doing. So I do think with his proven track record of it working in each and every other league, I think it will work. And we've seen it work before, this style of play. It has worked with Celtic, Ange Postecoglou, and honestly, whether you want to admit it or not, they were pretty relentless during that time. Cleaning up most of the domestic honours within Scotland, it worked. So I'm not sure. I don't understand why it couldn't work again. This time with Kevin in charge of Rangers. Gerrard return was never happening. What happened to the Gerrard U-turn story yesterday? Well, essentially, as we've seen with the bookies started to slash the odds, went from 14 to 1 to evens, which again usually does reflect certain things. But it looks as though, Sky Sports and other sources came out stating that there was no talk. So I don't know what happened with that in terms of the market and what was going on with it. But yeah, I mean, it was real. There was a story there that was true. His odds did slash to evens. So yeah, I mean, that. I think that's as far as it went. But it does look as though Kevin is going to be coming. Fans of the most successful club in the world are here for the comedy gold. You just can't get enough. It is brilliant for the soul. Superb. The desperation is superb. All right, Stephen, we'll see. We'll see, my man. Honestly, I can't tell you, mate. Trust me, I've been doing this channel now for what, 5, 6 years nearly, and I've spoke and I've got excited about absolutely everything. You know, when Rangers have done stuff, I get excited about it. I've stopped commenting on players if they're going to be good. I'm not putting my head out on the line anymore saying, he's going to be successful, they're going to be the best player in the league, or this guy's going to do this. I can only go with what we're doing. I'm not going to be making any outlandish claims. I'll let Kevin some space to do his stuff. But I think out of the options that we've been linked with, I certainly do feel like this is the best one. It feels right in my gut. But again, time will tell. And we've said that about a lot of managerial appointments over the last couple of years on this channel, and they've all went peak tong, essentially. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but I'm hoping things go well for this football club. I really do. Minnie says, very happy with Muscat, a serial winner and plays aggressive attacking football. Facts. Well, let's see, ladies and gentlemen. That's all the information we really have for you this morning with regard to this potential appointment. Well, it does look increasingly likely that he's going to be taking over. So to conclude, Stephen Smith, or whatever his name is going to be taking over the team on the Dundee United game. Neil McCann is going to be taking over the interim role. Kevin looks like he's going to be coming on November 22nd, but Neil looks like he's going to be a part of the coaching setup. Contract talks are underway. And we could have an announcement very, very soon. But guys, subscribe to the channel. Keep up to date with everything. We'll keep you up to date if anything is confirmed. Hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you all